So you finished watching season 3 of Ascendance of a Bookworm. Mine is no more. Or rather, she's become Rozemyne, a noble and the adopted daughter of an archduke. What comes next? Well, I could tell you all about her adventures, the people she meets in the nobles district, and what happens with her lower city friends and family, or you could just find it out yourself. This is your quick guide to navigating the bookworm world because it's a lot, honestly, and that's a good thing because this series just keeps getting better and better. First things first, Ascendance of a Bookworm is a Japanese web novel by Miya Kazuki that finished its run back in 2017. It is almost 700 chapters long with a spin-off and various side stories. This whole work is divided into 5 parts. Anime seasons 1, 2, and 3 covered part 1 and part 2 of the story. These parts show Mine's life as the daughter of a soldier and an apprentice shrine maiden at the temple. Part 3, titled Adoptive Daughter of an Archduke, is where season 4 would pick up from, if and when we do get an adaptation. What most people tend to do when they like an anime is to delve into the manga that inspired it. Bookworm does have a wonderful manga that is really faithful to the source material, plus it has really neat art style. Unfortunately, as of this video's publication, it has not yet caught up to where the anime ended, and the English translation is also behind. So, continuing the story from this point in the manga is not a viable option at this point. Now, you may at times stumble upon some manga that looks like there was some kind of time skip, since it's stuff that the anime never even showed. Here's where things get a little confusing with the manga. Currently in Japan, different mangakas are adapting different parts of the story at the same time. So there is one mangaka who did part 1 and is currently working on part 2. Then there's another one who is doing part 3 of the story, and yet another one who is doing part 4 of the story. Each artist has their own style, and each is covering totally different parts of the story, so if you try to follow the Japanese raws and you haven't read the light novels, you will find yourself very confused as to what is going on. What I recommend is that you read the light novel, preferably from the beginning since the anime skipped some really fun stuff, but if you don't want to, you can watch some videos I made that will fill you in on some of the stuff the anime missed, or you can watch the most excellent light novel deep dives from Trash Tier Waifu and just carry on from there. The benefits of reading the light novels are many. Not only do you get a really neat story with awesome characters and you get more Ferdinand in your life, but reading it also makes it possible for you to be able to follow along the Japanese manga releases from part 3 and part 4. You know, the ones I said you wouldn't understand if you jumped into them as an anime-only bookworm. Once you read the light novels, it's quite easy to follow along and enjoy the regular manga updates. I guarantee that once you start reading the light novel, you will read all of the available translated volumes in a matter of weeks, if not days. It is really that good. Thankfully, J Novel Club, the company that is releasing the official English translations of these light novels, is doing a fantastic job in getting them out to us. The translator is also doing an excellent job, and we are so lucky to get a new light novel volume every 2 months or so. I honestly couldn't be happier with what they're doing. However, even with the quick release schedule, a lot of bookworms are hungry for even more. If the 2-month wait between the volume releases is too much for you, you should probably join the Prepub gang. This is the name I give to people who are subscribers to J Novel Club. When J Novel Club is translating a light novel volume, they'll release prepubs or sections of that volume on their site for their subscribers to read. Generally, a book will have 8 parts and it comes out on a weekly basis. For the light novel, the prepub releases on Mondays, or as we like to call it, Mine Days. So if you're on Reddit and you see part 4, volume 9, part 1, or something like that, don't be confused, that's basically what it means. It's referring to the serial release for the Prepub gang, who is getting this volume in parts ahead of all of us plebeians who have to wait for the light novel to release in its entirety on Kindle, Google, Nook, etc. There are more details about Jane Novel Club and other perks you get when you have a premium subscription versus a regular one, but as this is not a sponsored video, I won't go into that. I will leave some helpful links in the description below though, you can check that out yourself. Now, there are some fanatics out there who, not content with having to wait for the light novel, will be like, forget it, I'm not waiting around to find out what happens next, and they just go and read the web novel on their own. It's not illegal to do so, it's up on the internet for all to read. But before you go that route, keep in mind a few things. It is indeed all in Japanese. And while the light novels are very faithful to the web novel, there are some changes, though very minor ones. When it comes to the adaptation of the light novel, it sometimes varies from the web novel. Think of the web novel as a rough draft. Another point is that because it is all in Japanese, you will have to use Google Translate or DeepL, and sometimes a machine-translated text, or what we call the MTL, is utterly incomprehensible. Still, it is possible to go that route and complete the whole web novel. My obsession with Bookworm knew no bounds, and after I had finished reading all the available English light novels, I went ahead and read the web novel, finishing it in a few weeks. My eyesight suffered, my brain glitched, battle scars, but worthy ones. It's a small price to pay. I don't recommend that you go this route though, because yes, you know the end of the story and you join a small select group of people who battled through, I call them the web novel veterans, but you really do miss out on a lot of details and nuances that you get with the official translation. And you also don't get extra side stories, you don't get prologues, and other points of views that put Mind's actions into their proper perspective. You also don't get any of the illustrations or maps, and at times you end up straight up confused and frustrated with how bad the MTL is. There are some websites out there that supposedly have all of the web novel in there translated into English. Please avoid that route. It is really, really bad. It's better if you just translate it yourself using your browser. So, TLDR, the manga is behind. So you won't be able to know what happens next unless you read the light novels. Meanwhile, hope and pray that we get a season 4 one day. I hope you found this helpful. There is a wealth of information on the Bookworm Fandom page as well as the Reddit FAQ page, both of which I am linking in the description below. So if I missed anything, which I am sure I did, since this is not meant to be exhaustive, you can find more information there, or you can ask below and maybe one of the other watchers will answer your questions. The most important thing, however, is that what makes Bookworm so fun is the wonderful community of fellow fans. There's a Facebook group, a Discord server, there's also the Bookworm subreddit, and the Ferdinand Democratic Simpdom, which is basically my Twitter page where I post Bookworm related content, Ferdinand thirst posts, Ferdinand appreciation posts, and so on. I encourage you to join us. Introduce yourself, ask questions, don't be shy. We love to fangirl and tell you all the spoilers and answer all your questions if you just ask. If you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe. And if you want to support me, please use the affiliate links below to purchase the light novel or support me on Ko-fi. A special thanks to the people on the screen for their support and all their love. Thank you, and until the next video, bye bye.